Alaska, safety is our #1 priority, and all of our pilots are highly trained professionals, so all you wannabe bush pilots out there, do not try this at home.
Northern Alaska. It's home to the most isolated citizens in America. The only way in, the only way out, is by bush plane. Where the roads end, the Tweedo's world begins. On this episode, an epic Alaskan race is starting, bringing with it high-profile clients.
Four-time champion, Wenns Euch.
Pressing deadlines for Era Alaska.
If we can't get this sled to McGrath before Lance gets there, it will cost him the race.
Ariel faces her first off-airport landing.
You go down all the way?
No.
Go down all the way. You gotta push the hand, that little button down on top.
Trying to.
And a pilot battles mechanical failure over open water.
Problem here.
Day in and day out, the pilots of Era Alaska battle extreme weather in small planes, providing the only lifeline to America's last frontier.
Era 292, 2 hours fuel. I got 3 souls on board.
AM 930 KNSA Unilocleat.
Good morning, Unilocleat. Once the days start getting longer, everyone looks forward to the start of the Iditarod, the 1,100-mile dog sled race from Anchorage to Nome that is arguably the toughest race on Earth.
The darkness of winter subsides across western Alaska, and one of the first indications of spring is the upcoming Iditarod. The annual dog sled race is a main attraction for the state of Alaska, bringing thousands of tourists from around the world to witness the epic race. The Iditarod starts in Anchorage and covers 1,150 miles of Alaska's harshest terrain, before finishing more than a week later in the town of Nome. The race pays tribute to a brave team of mushers who in 1925 blazed a trail through uncharted wilderness to deliver life-saving vaccines to Nome during a deadly diphtheria outbreak. This year, 62 mushing teams will endure winds topping 50 miles an hour, and temperatures plummeting to 70 below zero, all for the ultimate challenge of finishing the Iditarod. Mushers rely on Era Alaska pilots to transport racing dogs, sleds, survival supplies, and over 86,000 pounds of dog food to the 24 checkpoints along the trail. At the helm of it all is Era Alaska COO Jim Tweedo.
Iditarod's a Super Bowl for Alaska.
The couple weeks leading up to the race, you know, this giant jigsaw puzzle of planes and people and schedules. Take that dog food pallet and put it up there, would ya? You know, we'll have 30 airplanes parked out here when there's normally only 5. It's just a lot of activity.
851 miles into the trail lies Unilocleat, the first race checkpoint on the coast of the Bering Sea, and the last major hub before the finish line in Nome. Unilocleat plays a major role in the Iditarod, acting as a staging point for the mushers and the race organizers. In Anchorage, defending 4-time Iditarod champion Lance Mackey is finalizing last-minute preparations before the big race to Nome.
I'm Lance Mackey from Fairbanks, Alaska. I'm considered a professional dog sled racer.
A cancer survivor, Lance Mackey has become the face of the sport, conquering unimaginable odds, breaking 3 world records, earning him the title of toughest athlete alive.
I've been fortunate enough to win the last 4 Iditarods and 4 Yukon Quests as well. And I tell people I think most people are put on Earth for a reason, and I was certainly put on Earth to race and train dogs. All right, gentlemen, what do you think? Hi, Hector. We rely on the bush pilots, well, for everything, basically, that we have out there in the checkpoints and the villages along the way. So, yeah, they play a huge role in what we do.
Good morning, Era. Lance Mackey called me, and he needed to get a smaller sled out to McGrath.
McGrath lies 400 miles into the Iditarod Trail, The terrain leading up to the checkpoint is the roughest of the entire race. In McGrath, most of the top mushers switch to smaller, lighter sleds to give them greater speed, since their heavy-duty ride is no longer needed.
Iditarod's become a very competitive event, so any little bit of edge they can get, they're going to spend the money to do it because there's a big financial reward for winning the Iditarod.
We told him we'd put it on one of our mail runs out of Anchorage and get it dropped in McGrath for him before he got to McGrath. Okay, talk to you later. The girls are in Anchorage to watch the start of the Iditarod. I'm not the big fan that the girls are of the dog race. Come on. I like dogs and stuff, but too much commotion, and they like all the social stuff. I think they were going to try to do some of the other events associated with Iditarod, like running with the reindeer. Yeah, they can have that. I don't need to get gored by a reindeer. I'm happy right here.
I'm in Anchorage right now, and me and my sister Ayla are gonna go around and tell all of our favorite mushers good luck. Bam!
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
Woo! Iditarod!
Doing great. How you ladies doing?
Awesome.
Good to see you.
So are you excited?
Yeah, I hate waiting around now.
Wait, there's two of you guys running, or
Three.
how does that work?
Myself, Newton, and Kane.
Oh, wow.
My stepson Kane is the first.
Oh, so cool.
Oh, really? How old's he?
He's 19.
Woo!
Yeah,
Woo!
Kane now.
I know, like, where is he? I'm just joking. I'm glad you fly with us.
Well,
Yeah.
Team,
one of the best.
team.
Absolutely. Without them, we wouldn't have an Iditarod like it is today. You know, we might be able to get some of it out there by dog team and snow machine ahead of time, but we're very dependent on the bush pilots. You don't see women like you on the Iditarod very often, so.
We'll be in our little fur bikinis.
Yeah, right. I will get there as fast as I can.
The next day, the Tweedo girls head for the starting line to watch the mushers leave on the 1,150-mile journey to Nome.
The Iditarod is a big deal in Alaska just because people come here from all over the world. It's just like a big festival. It's like the Olympics of Alaska. Let's go say hi to Kane. How are you?
I'm Kane Carter. I'm 19. Lance Mackey's my stepdad. I've been running dogs for about 10 years now.
This is your first one, right?
Yep, this is my first one.
Did you win last year?
2009.
That's awesome.
First father and son to ever win the Junior Iditarod and the Iditarod in the same year.
Oh, that is so cool.
Kane, I met him for the first time and I couldn't talk pretty much. And I always talk, but he's pretty good looking. We'll be cheering you the whole way from the coast on. I think I made it pretty obvious that I like him. Just joking. Which is, I don't know if it's good or bad, but oh well. No shame. Bye!
Later.
Bye, dogs! Good luck!
15 seconds.
Lance is coming up, number 17.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he is one of the kings of Alaska. Please welcome four-time champion,
We watched the start of the race to cheer on Kane Carter, my future husband-in-law. What? My future husband.
Oh, Fairbanks, that is Kane Carter.
Go, Kane! You rock! Good luck!
You're the queen!
We'll see you there.
The Iditarod has officially begun. Back in Unacleat, Jim is already feeling the pressure of the increased business.
I have given it to the FAA. Needs that little round rubber stamp on it.
Okay. Just keep me posted.
Yesterday, a new Beechcraft 1900 bound for Nome was supposed to deliver defending champion Lance Mackey's secondary sled to McGrath.
They were just waiting.
Due to a mandatory inspection, the plane has been grounded, and Jim is forced to wait until given the green light.
I'm sweating trying to figure out how to get his sled to McGrath before he gets there.
The race is well underway, and while Jim is running the office in Unacleat, the rest of the Tweedos are about to run with the reindeer.
We are in downtown Anchorage, and we are just getting ready to do the reindeer run. It's like Spain's bull thing, Alaska style with reindeer.
Bunch of nutty people just take off right down the avenue. These people are fools, man. They're gonna have a horn right up their ass.
We're gonna see some injuries today, folks.
We persuaded my mom to jump in with us, which I knew she would. We could talk her into anything.
I got suckered into it because they said they'd do it. Here I am, and I'm scared.
You guys ready? Yeah! Are you ready? Get the heck out of the way!
Anchorage, the historic running of the Iditarod has officially started. And the Tweedo ladies are about to participate in a very unusual Alaskan tradition.
These people are fools, man. They're gonna have a horn right up their ass, and here I am now. Damn.
Are you ready?
Everyone just booked it, and people were tripping, and then the reindeer were just all over the place. Yeah, it was scary.
Oh my God, I was absolutely scared. I was like looking back, making sure that nobody...
I thought you guys were behind me.
I bucked out of there. No antlers at our butt.
They've survived the running of the reindeer, and the girls make one last stop before heading back to Unalakleet.
Unalakleet is really small, so in order to get warm clothing, we have to come to Anchorage and go shopping.
The villages of Alaska are so remote, the big city amenities are non-existent. Villagers often fly into larger cities such as Anchorage to stock up on cold weather gear, appliances, and everyday needs.
There's your onesie.
My onesie.
I like it. I want one of those. Those are like the Iditarod jackets.
Bring it on, Ayla.
Holy moly, I can't even hold this thing. It's so big.
So we had a wrestling match, and the deal was whoever won had to wear a fur bikini for Kane, and they got to like show off a little and be all cutesy and stuff.
The kids, I could hear screaming in the front, so I went to check on them. Couldn't believe it. They were screaming and falling on the floor, so I just walked off again, acted like I didn't know them.
Okay, I think I won.
Ayla sat on me and pretty much won. So actually I won, because she's gonna be freezing out there and waving at a 19-year-old. She's hot, so I didn't lose.
I heard her say it, she totally lost.
No way.
It's all right, nice try though. Good try.
It's typical. They like to make fools of themselves just like I do, you know, almost daily.
Winners. You're not a winner today. I just beat you.
Yeah, right.
The shopping trip complete, the girls head to Unalakleet and back to work. The Iditarod is underway, as is the rush of tourists flocking to checkpoints along the trail, boarding flights packed with thousands of pounds of survival supplies, dog food, and gear for the mushers. Known pilot Christian Clark arrives in a 208 Caravan to help ferry the excess passengers to the end of the race.
My name is Christian Clark. I work at Aviation. Been flying here for 12 years now. Hey, welcome to Unalakleet. I got this muskox fur for somebody. Oh.
Whose is that?
I don't know. They didn't even, it's not even listed. It's kind of heavy. Got it. Windy.
Loading up 430 pounds of dog food and passengers bound for the race finish line, Christian heads back to Nome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a super nice day today.
Meanwhile, defending champion Lance Mackey closes in on the McGrath checkpoint. As Jim gets the phone call he's been waiting on for 4 days.
This is Dennis.
Hey, Dennis. Jim Tweedo.
Hey, Jim. Paperwork just came in. Got a Lance Mackey sled that is ready to go. We're going to load 1900 and get out of here.
We're just now getting ready to leave Anchorage. Lance is Alaska's #1 celebrity. If we screw up this delivery, it's going to be a problem.
With the green light on the 1900, pilot Doug Doherty leaves Anchorage in a race against the clock to beat the defending Iditarod champion to the McGrath checkpoint.
If we can't get this sled to McGrath before Lance gets there, it will cost him the race.
After a 4-day delay, pilot Doug Doherty is racing the clock to beat Lance Mackey to the McGrath checkpoint with the defending Iditarod champion's secondary sled. Lance is currently in the lead. But with the other mushers hot on his trail, any delay could cost him his record-breaking 5th consecutive win.
Lance expected us to deliver the sled on Saturday for him. There were several challenges that we had to overcome to get Lance's sled on board. Lance's team is sitting on pins and needles right now until we get it there. Beach 575 X-ray has McGrath in sight for the visual.
Beach 575 X-ray, clear visual approach McGrath.
Let's go flaps, set approach.
Have McGrath traffic, 5 kilos, clear the runway.
Doug lands just before sunset.
That right there is an award-winning sled. Alrighty.
Transports the sled to the official Iditarod checkpoint, arriving just hours before Lance.
We got his sled here in the nick of time. High five. That's for Team Mackey. We got the sled delivered to McGrath before Lance got here, so I'm happy.
Doug Doherty returns to Nome with a new 1900. The preparations for the Iditarod finish line are underway. Business is in full swing.
My name's Doug Stewart. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. I've been in Nome for about 15 years now, and I'm a pilot for Air Alaska.
How you doing, man?
My name's Nick Stone. Flying for Air Alaska for just over a year now. This morning, we're going to be headed to Shishmaref. Got to pick up some stuff for Furno, some crafts and whatnot. My primary duties are first officer, 1900. To break it down into layman terms, my captain is like Aquaman and I'm like a shark. He has the power, but I'm always there to back him up. I don't wear a jacket sometimes when it's above 0 because I get hot, and I hate being hot. It's better to be cold than hot because you don't stink. It's like 10 degrees. I don't know why he's not wearing a jacket. I have no idea.
Doug and Nick are flying to Shishmaref, a tiny village of 563 residents that lies 123 miles north of Nome.
We're gonna head out to Shish. We're gonna give Dennis a little visit. Dennis Sinek he's our agent, and I've known Dennis for probably 14 years now. Says he's got something for me. I don't know what he's talking about, but we'll find out. We're 10 northwest with hotel, finding 10.
Air 200, roger. God, disregard. He's rolling down the runway, no factor. Wind calm.
Doug and Nick touch down in the small village of Shishmaref to deliver the freight and to meet up with station manager Dennis Sudik. Dennis brings the pilots to his family's home, tucked away in the snow-covered village.
We can go and see what we got for Furno.
Dennis's mother, Rachel, along with other locals, have made various crafts to send back to Unacleat.
This is what Furno wants?
Yeah.
These are awesome. Spotted seal. People buy these in Unacleat?
They buy them all over Alaska.
The native Alaskans hand-make clothing and jewelry using materials from the recent winter hunting season. The money from the furs and accessories provides income for the villagers. And with the Iditarod bringing so many tourists through major hubs such as Unacleat, Rachel is sending goods for Furno to sell.
Well, you want to try some seal oil and black meat?
Oh, man. You're going to make me do that?
We're going to do that.
All right, all right. What kind of, is it like berry flavored or something? No.
You'll find out.
All my time spent here, and I have successfully avoided any local foods. I guess today I'm going to have to man up and take one for the team.
On the return flight to Nome, Christian's route takes him across the frozen Norton Sound.
Holy cow, all the ice is blowing out. This is all solid ice through here yesterday. We got north winds coming through these valleys, and it's blowing like 40-mile-an-hour winds through these hills, which is actually pushing the ice out to the south. So that's why the ice is further out right here. So we're just kind of balling the ice pack right now. So if something does happen, then we'll be able to set her down. You don't want to be over water if the engine quits.
Single-engine aircraft are required to fly within gliding distance of a landing area in case there is an emergency. During the winter, the water freezes along the coastline, allowing pilots to take a shortcut over the pack ice.
But the single-engine airplane is reliable as these turbine engines are. They do quit on occasion, so if they quit, Last thing you want to do is land in freezing water, because there's just no way you survive. I think they say you have like less than 2 minutes before severe hypothermia sets in.
A trim tab is a small adjustable flap on the trailing edge of the plane's aileron, rudder, or elevator. Similar to the alignment on a car, adjusting the trim tab alleviates control pressure, allowing the aircraft to be more stable at different speeds. If the electronic trim control short circuits or malfunctions, the trim tab can automatically extend, a phenomenon known as runaway trim, drastically changing the control surface of the aircraft. If this occurs, the pilot must immediately identify the problem and take action before the airplane becomes uncontrollable.
This is holy.
Problem here.
Miles off the coast of Nome, pilot Christian Clark is battling a malfunctioning trim control as he flies his caravan over the thinning sea ice.
What the? Electric trail on my switch. Something's wrong on the inside.
Hold up.
There, kill the breaker over here.
Hold up.
Trim is pitching downwards. It's overriding your control, so you got to really use a lot of pressure. And the only way to stop is by holding it with your knee and pulling the circuit breaker to keep the electric trail from working. All right, let's get this thing on the ground.
Finally back over solid ground, Christian faces high winds that are gusting up to 40 miles per hour, placing even more pressure on the malfunctioning trim controls. If the trim short circuits completely, he could lose control of the aircraft. Safely in Nome, and the caravan is grounded until mechanics can resolve the trim problem.
Probably going to be down here most of the day while they take care of the airplane, take a look at it, and check out all the systems and make sure we're good to go.
Back in Shishmaref, Nome pilots Doug Stewart and Nick Stone are getting a lesson in native cuisine.
Well, you want to try some seal oil and black meat?
Oh, man. You're going to make me do that?
You were going to do that.
All right, all right.
These are some parts. This is bearded seal. We cut the meat up ourselves, then we hang it up from May to first part of July. We have cravings for Eskimo food. That's what we eat, which is really good.
Holy cannoli.
Oh, my God. We got, what is that? What's this right here, Dennis?
That's the intestine.
What?
It's dried intestines, right?
Yeah, we really clean it out.
Okay. This is the bearded seal, right?
Yeah, that one is
that's half cooked.
You got some hot sauce maybe, or some tequila?
Well,
it's not gonna bite you.
I have a sensitive stomach. Oh, come on.
Muktuk, I've had muktuk. Muktuk's all right.
The blubber and skin from the bowhead whale.
When I watched Stoney's face when he put it in his mouth,
Dennis, I can tell you're enjoying this.
that was priceless.
Look at him.
Okay. It's too hard.
Here we go. Fermented walrus.
Yeah.
So the red part is
the meat.
The meat. And then this is the blubber?
Yeah.
So how often do you eat this, Dennis?
Hardly ever. Don't even think about it.
Oh, that's strong flavor for sure. The fermented walrus. It burns your tongue. You want to spit it out as soon as possible.
Oh, my God.
Let us know when you want some more.
Okay, yeah. I appreciate that, yeah.
After enjoying Dennis's hospitality, Doug and Nick head back to Nome with the furs and food.
I seriously was going to throw up when I ate the muck tuck.
No, when I first saw the reaction on your face, I thought you were going to bolt to the bathroom.
I wanted to. And then when I ate the walrus.
Oh, yeah, that fermented walrus.
Yeah, you burp it and you can still taste it.
Oh.
221 miles south of Shishmaref, the Iditarod headquarters in Unalakleet is in need of Air Alaska's off-airport service.
So someone just called and said that a couple of the markers are missing up the river for the trail marking things, and they want us to go put new ones in.
Mushers are missing, or the trail markers?
The trail markers, and the mushers will be missing if we don't go stick them in.
I guess some stakes had fallen down or been misplaced. The mushers were coming pretty soon, so we had to get out there right away.
The Iditarod course crosses Alaska's harshest landscape, and all 1,150 miles are designated with markers. The wooden stakes are placed every 20 feet along the trail and are wrapped with bright reflective tape for visibility at night and in blinding whiteout conditions. The missing trail markers are 32 miles north of Unalakleet. The first group of mushers have just left the checkpoint, meaning time is of the essence to find and replace the 100 yards of missing markers.
Let's go right now. I'll just go grab the markers and we're ready.
To land on the snow and ice-covered trail, Jim is taking the Super Cub. The tail dragger plane has a high nose and is equipped with skis on the landing gear, making it perfect for an off-airport landing on the frozen Iditarod Trail.
Fly carefully.
Ariel climbs in the front seat for her first time piloting the lightweight aircraft on an off-airport landing.
During the winter, I can't really fly and work on my skills because it's dark and windy and cold. I haven't flown in 2 months or so, and it was my first time back in the plane.
Hey, you ready?
Yep. Let's go put some stakes down for the Iditarodders. So I was a bit nervous and a little scared, but I'm so excited to finally start getting back in the air again.
Okay.
Yeah, kids are always excited about going flying, especially with the Cubs, since we don't fly it that much.
There's a booth right there.
Where?
Right there, off the wing. See him right there?
I put Ariel up in the front because I got dual controls. And, you know, I'm so tall that I can see over her, so it's easy for me to help her land.
I think there's a spot where the stakes are missing. We should land here.
Oh, you think so?
Yep.
Press that knob down.
What knob?
The switch.
Oh, okay.
New to piloting, Ariel has a history of getting flustered during landings.
Don't push. Don't push. Pull, 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 pull. No, you're pushing. Don't do that.
I'll go more. Oh.
On final approach, Ariel must lower the plane's wing flaps to maintain lift while slowing the plane to land.
Okay, push the flaps down.
Down?
Yeah, let them go down. They go down all the way?
No.
Go down all the way. You gotta push the hand, the little button down on top.
I'm trying to. It won't go down.
Pull it back.
All the way?
32 miles north of Unalakleet, Ariel is struggling with the wing flaps on the Super Cub while on final approach for her first off-airport landing.
They go down all the way?
No.
Go down all the way. You gotta push the hand, the little button down on top.
I'm trying to. It won't go down.
We touched down, we dragged it a little bit, and you're punching through snow, and it's not a smooth ride, but it's normal flying with Ariel.
Safely on the ground, Ariel gets to work replacing 100 yards of stakes to keep the mushers on course.
Start walking.
This makes me feel really good because I'm helping the Iditarod mushers. They sort of want to take some of these stakes and make a trail towards my house for King Carter.
Hey, forgot a couple of them.
Oh, crap. Just save the Iditarod.
There you go.
Nice to get out of the office. Oh, yeah.
The stakes replaced. Jim and Ariel head back to Unifleet. They return from the trip as Gnome pilot Doug Stewart arrives with furs and a special Eskimo treat for Furno.
This is an assortment of different stuff in seal oil. See how seal oil?
So there's seal meat and down milk. What else?
Doug Stewart, one of our pilots, brought me and my mom some Eskimo food. He brought some fermented walrus and the intestines of a seal.
Oh, gosh, that's awesome.
The Iditarod brings a flood of tourists through Unifleet, making it the perfect place for Furno to sell Rachel's handmade goods.
So I'll just keep them for you then.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
The defending champion, Lance Mackey, arrives at the Unifleet checkpoint, and Ariel, Furno, and Ayla head down to welcome him to town.
There's Lance! Hey, Lance! Hi! We've met Lance a couple times, so we went to go cheer him on and say hi. Hey, Lance, how are your dogs doing?
Oh, for the few that there are, they've been working extra hard this trip.
The race has taken a heavy toll on Lance's team, as injury and illness have left him with only 9 of his original 16 dogs.
How much do you have now, 9?
I do, so I'll probably leave them with 8, and I could actually reach Nome with 7. So yeah, it's been a little challenging this trip, but educational, a learning curve for sure.
Yeah, what's the woman's name again?
This is Grant.
Grant, you need a little picker-upper?
He does.
But we'll let you rest and stuff.
Okay.
And then we'll come and cheer for you when you leave.
Absolutely.
The girls are already back at work when Kane Carter pulls into town 9 hours later.
It sucks that them girls couldn't be here. They said they were gonna be here. They're very nice girls and they're both very pretty, but thanks girls, you're lying to me. It's just, they're leading me on, that's what it is.
Disappointed, Kane ventures into the night for the final 269-mile stretch to Nome. As the sun rises over western Alaska, residents wake to grim news.
This morning, Alaskans woke up to tsunami warnings and advisories across the state. A magnitude 8.9 earthquake hit just off the east coast of Japan.
There was an earthquake in Japan, as well as a very serious tsunami, and we do have warnings for the coast of Alaska.
In 1964, an earthquake struck southern Alaska, measuring a 9.2 on the Richter scale, creating the largest tsunami in recorded history. Water levels rose up to 219 feet, killing more than 200 people and wiping Valdez and Prince William Sound virtually off the map.
All along the west coast, everybody's attention is up to just see if this tsunami is going to affect us at all, but it's definitely something to be aware of, so we're watching it.
Coastal villages of Alaska brace for the worst. The projected arrival time of the tsunami approaches. In Nome, pilot Doug Doherty loads survival supplies to deliver to the low-lying village of Gamble.
One of the functions that we serve as bush pilots out here is the eyes and ears for the village. It's not necessarily that we're looking out for tidal waves every day, but if we see anything out of the ordinary, we're going to report it back to the village. We're headed out to St. Lawrence Island right now. We have a tidal wave warning and see if we can help assist in finding the tidal wave activity.
Gamble is home to 700 residents on St. Lawrence Island and is located 178 miles west of Nome. Only 15 feet above sea level, the open water and loose sheets of ice create hazards for the village.
If the tidal wave picks up any of the sea ice and sets it up on shore, you're talking 1,000-pound chunks of ice. They're going to go right through the homes out here. This can be absolutely devastating for them. So we're trying to get out here to Smoke and Gamble before it hits to see if we can offer any assistance. We're coming up on the village of Gamble. You can see how close we are to the Bering Sea. We're right on it.
The projected arrival time is now less than 30 minutes away, and time is of the essence for Doug to deliver the supplies to the islanders. Get his plane back in the air.
See how the whole village is down low? It won't take very much at all to take out the entire village. And these ice chunks will come right up and knock everything flat. This is a dangerous place to be right now.
Over the Bering Sea, pilot Doug Doherty is inbound with survival supplies for St. Lawrence Island, where a tsunami warning is in effect.
This is a dangerous place to be right now. Oh, chunk ice. That is the size of a house. We're coming up on the village of Gamble. You can see how close we are to the Bering Sea. We're right on it in the village. See how the whole village is down low? If that tidal wave hits somewhere on the ground, we're going to be in big trouble. Big trouble. There's an ocean swell right there. Are people worried about that tidal wave?
I think everybody was cautious all night.
Everybody was up all night worried about it?
Yeah, they were.
When's the tidal wave supposed to hit? 10 a.m.?
With minutes to spare, the villagers evacuate to higher ground, as Doug takes to the air to continue his patrol of the coastline.
Gamble area traffic here, 240's taxiing out for departure at Gamble heading to Nome. That's just what we do out here, is we rely on each other to help each other out. This tidal wave warning up here is not to be taken lightly. Venture planner on 2-1. Any updates on tsunami activity for Nome?
30 miles from Gamble, Doug receives some good news from his base in Nome.
The tsunami advisory continues effect for the coastal areas of California, but for Oregon and Alaska, don't expect any effects.
Dude, that's awesome.
According to the National Weather Service, the tsunami warnings have been lifted for western Alaska.
So hopefully it stays together for us.
The villagers are safe from danger, as the western islands of Alaska, that are the indicator for the whole state, see only a moderate rise in sea level. The threat of the rising tides fades with the daylight, bringing with it a new day and a new reason to celebrate in Nome.
Me and my sister Ayla came from Unicely to watch the end of the Iditarod.
Thousands of international tourists, friends, family, and even a few Era Alaska pilots eagerly await the first musher to cross the finish line. John Baker, a native from Kotzebue, finishes first in a record-breaking 8 days, 20 hours, dethroning defending champion Lance Mackey.
John Baker just won the Iditarod, and he's the first ever Inupiaq Eskimo to win it. So super stoked, native pride, yes. The Iditarod is a really tough race, so by the time the first musher finishes, it could be like a week later, and then the last musher will finish.
Lance Mackey crosses the finish line in 9 days, 17 hours, grabbing 16th place, despite only having a fraction of his world-class sled dogs left in the race.
Took a little longer this time.
Mushers continue to trickle in over the next few days. Then, on day 11 of the race, Ariel and Ayla rush to the finish line after hearing that Kane Carter is heading into town.
We found out Kane Carter was coming in, heard the big siren thing. Ayla still had to own up to her bet. Yay! We were at the finish of the Iditarod, and we were watching Kane Carter finish, and Ayla's gonna show off in her little fur bikini. Free show over here.
Shut your mouth.
Oh, there he is. There he is. He's coming. Come on, dogs. Come here. Yeah, Kane.
Yeah, Kane Carter! I said I'd be here in a bikini. High five! Okay, I got my bikini. He's like, what are you doing? I'm going out.
Go, Kane!
Okay.
He just finished. It's the end of Iditarod. All the mushers are through. Kane finished. Ayla, Shamid, and we survived. Damn.
With the Iditarod over, the Air Alaska pilots enjoy the rest of their day off.
We just started the first annual Air Alaska Iditarod, and we have all of our fans out here that came to support us. They were both very happy.
Hail! 1, 2, 3. Go, go,
Yeah!
We just had fun. It was just free for all. It's Alaska. That's what we do.
Sled, hut, hut, hut!
It was pretty fun to come here and have Ayla and Ariel and a whole assortment of all of us pilots from all over the state. It's always a good time when everybody gets together like that.
2, 3.
Back in Unigleet, Jim may be COO, but he'll always be an airman at heart, and he is none too happy to be stuck doing paperwork while the Alaskan skies are calling.
Looks like a beautiful day out there. Clear skies, pretty light winds.
It's been great all week.
You're the luckiest guy alive, Ben. Luckiest guy. I'm stuck in the office. Ben gets to go flying. Just ain't right. It ticks me off some days. Morning, Era.